Hey guys, Scrap Bits back, and I got something else for you guys to look at. We're going to see what's inside this thing. Take a guess on what it is. I've never scrapped one of these out before. This is a GAF 2680 slide projector. If anybody that doesn't know what a slide projector is, look it up on Google. So, I've never taken one of these things apart. I have absolutely no idea what's in here. Got it out of a guy that he was cleaning out his garage. He gave me a whole bunch of stuff. He said he hasn't had it on forever. I looked him up. They ain't worth nothing. Cord was with it, so we'll address that in a little bit here. But right now I'm going to get this thing apart and see what's cooking in this thing. I have no idea what to expect. I have no idea how many screws are in this thing. None of that kind of stuff. So first things first, let's get the knobs off of this thing. That's a stubborn little sucker there. Jeez. There it goes. Let's get the knobs off this thing and start taking whatever screws out I can find. Maybe there'll be something cool in here. Or maybe there won't. Ooh, fancy handle. It does not want to come out yet. Alright, I'm going to shut this thing off for a couple minutes while I wrestle with this thing. Hang on, I'll be right back. Okay. There's about 4 hidden screws in this thing. I think I'm into it now. So, here we've got the lid off the thing, and we take a look inside. I do see, looks like an electric motor here. We have a transformer here, and some lens pieces right in there. So we'll get to those guys. This was one of the hidden screws here. Was this little guy right there. So it's that. Doesn't look like anything of interest left in here, just some plastic. But there's a couple things we're going to take a look at on that one before I let it go. Alright, so kind of maybe what I expected, I'm not sure. Looks like we have an aluminum plate here, a motor. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's going to be a motor also, and a motor. Surprised there's not a little transformer in here. Anyway, alright, let's get some of these parts up. So that what kills you on time on taking these things apart is the amount of screws. And if you're not familiar with it, like I'm not with this thing, it can certainly eat away at your time. That is for sure. But I've taken a lot of E-ways apart. I've never come across a slide projector before. And this thing's probably from the 70s. I've never come across a slide projector before. So I'm not super familiar with what I'm looking at here. That's why it's taken me maybe a little bit more time than it should. So you see Alright, so now just having to muscle through all this stuff. So that's basically the gist of what we're looking at. The lens is sitting over here. Here's the motor, it looks like, for the focus. There's a motor right here attached to something that I think holds the slides. And then we have a big motor here and another lens down here. So it looks like the light comes from back here, slide goes through here, projects out here onto your wall. So I'm going to shut this thing off and get this thing apart, and we'll show you what kind of things we get out of there. Wow, that was that was a lot of work to get this thing apart, surprisingly. It took me a good 20 minutes to get this thing apart. That's kind of surprising. So anyway, let's get back at it here. So you do end up with a fairly sizable amount of plastic in here. However, there's a piece of steel here. I'm sure that's steel. Oh, it's actually aluminum. I'll have to take that part off here. So this is aluminum, so I'll have to get that chunk of that off of there. The rest of that's plastic. On here, this is, I'm sure, steel. And then these little guys are some kind of little copper contacts, probably for the safety of the door or something. This is that top door. Probably shuts it off if you open it, kind of a thing. So we'll take the get the screws out of that, throw that in with my copper junk, and then this guy I'm sure is, I doubt it's stainless, it's definitely not aluminum. Oh, little chunk of steel. And I got a little bit of screws, shocking, plastic garbage. Alright, so here's what is left of this thing. It is riveted on, steel rivets. To get this aluminum plate off, I'm gonna have to drill out 10 or 15 steel rivets. It just is not worth it. So probably what I'm gonna do is finish off these little brackets here, just get as much of the loose stuff off as I can, and then my scrapyard should take it as dirty aluminum for 12 cents a pound on me. Here's another one. These things are compressed in, these little parts here, so they're not going to come out, and it's not worth taking apart. Again, there's some riveted parts onto a piece of aluminum on this thing, not worth it. And then this thing, which I thought was aluminum, is steel, so that's going to go in the shred steel. So anyway, let's look at what we got here. So right there is 2 1/4 pound of dirty aluminum, so 29 cents for that stuff right there. Throw that in my aluminum stuff. I'll take this piece off of there. That'll go as clean. It's, you know, maybe a few ounces for that part there. Do end up with a wad of wire. Not too much is in there, so I'll have to clean that stuff up. It'll go in my computer wire bin that I get 55 cents a pound for. Here's the cord that ran the thing. So take that plug off, or take the controller side off. Take this plug off. There's probably that's probably brass, little itty bitty tiny bits of brass in there. Maybe I'll mess with it, maybe I won't. That thing can just go into the drop cord bin. At 4 ounces, I get 50 cents a pound for drop cord, so that's cool. And as far as this just tin shred goes, there wasn't as much of it as you'd think in there. It's more just little chunks and pieces of it. That plug can go into shred, and I might open that up and see what's in there just to be safe. But I mean, there's maybe a couple pounds of tin shred here, so that's okay. So that'll all go in there. And then I did end up with 4 motors out of this thing. So here's the biggest one that ran the fan. This one ran some sort of gearing system in there. I'm not sure what this thing ran. It was buried in there. And that thing runs the focus of the lens. Piece of brass on there, I cannot get that thing off of there, and I'm done trying. So 2 1/3 pounds of electric motors, I get somewhere 10 to 15 cents a pound depending on the price at this time. So that's not too bad. So those just go in there with my transformers and such. And then let's, for fun, Let's see what's in this little controller, just for kicks. So anyway, that's taking apart a more screws back there. So that's taking apart a slide projector. Is it worth it? I don't know. That's up to you. Would I take another one apart, knowing what I had to do? I don't think so. Although there's a little circuit board in here with a little bit of copper contacts on it. So I'll take those little copper contacts off of there and just chuck the rest of that in the garbage. And then the other kind of cool thing that came out of there was the two lenses. They're kind of neat. I don't know why, but they're kind of cool. I'll keep those. Anyway, boys, girls, that's a slide projector. Take it apart if you want to. Is it worth it? That's your choice. Depends on what your scrapyard gives you. I will tell you that before I took it all apart, the thing weighed 10 pounds, so it's roughly worth 60 cents in scrap. Take it all apart, it's probably worth about $3 or $4. So it's up to you. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.